Forbidden's Truth, Breaking the Matrix of Control Chapter 4. Historical Falsifications. Part 2 4.3. Historical Catastrophes and Their True Causes, Erasing the Traces of Previous Civilizations and Redrawing the World. Cyclicality and the Great Oblivion. Official history is filled with accounts of grand catastrophes, floods, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and ice ages that supposedly destroyed entire civilizations, reshaped the planet, and explained the disappearance of ancient cultures. We are told these were natural events, accidental phenomena of Earth's random development, entirely independent of human influence. Yet, when viewed through the lens of global deception, a very different picture emerges. Many of these so-called catastrophes may not have been natural at all, but deliberate, controlled events designed to erase the traces of earlier, more advanced civilizations, perhaps the civilizations of giants, which we will discuss in Chapter 9, and to reformat the world for those who sought total dominion over humanity. Global floods and their traces. Nearly every culture on Earth, from the Bible to the Sumerian epics, from the Indian Puranas to the Norse sagas and Native American legends, preserve strikingly similar stories of a great flood that wiped out a prior civilization. Official science dismisses these as local myths or isolated natural disasters, but the universality of these accounts and their uncanny similarity in detail points to a real, global event. What if these floods were not accidents of nature, but deliberate acts of climate manipulation or ancient geoengineering similar to HARP, which we will revisit in Chapter 8, carried out to purge the planet of undesirable civilizations, to erase forbidden knowledge, or to dismantle technologies that threaten centralized control? See Chapter 5. Water, after all, is the ultimate eraser. It destroys cities, obliterates artifacts, and resets the world for a new beginning. The Ice Ages and their anomalies. Textbooks speak of periodic ice ages that advanced and retreated across the planet in cycles, supposedly due to natural climate fluctuations. But glaring anomalies remain: the sudden onset and retreat of glaciers, their spread into regions where such conditions make little sense, or the discovery of tropical fossils in zones now deemed glacial. Could these ice ages have been engineered climate weapons deployed to freeze vast regions, obliterate civilizations, and force humanity into migrations that redistributed populations across the globe in ways convenient to the ruling powers? Such a process could have been used to eliminate undesirable groups or to inaugurate a new world order through displacement and controlled repopulation, erasing the traces of advanced civilizations. If Atlantis, Lemuria, or the civilizations of giants once flourished with technologies beyond our imagination, as we will explore in Chapter 10, then these catastrophes may have been calculated acts of erasure, deliberately destroying them so their existence would vanish from memory. This ensured that humanity would not know its true potential, nor realize that progress is not linear. Civilizations rise, fall, and repeat in cycles, but they do not want us to recognize that a golden age has already passed, and that we now live in an iron age, a time of deception, control, and decline. Archaeological anomalies and their denial. Across the world, out-of-place artifacts or parts, such as human footprints in ancient rock strata, or technological relics embedded in supposedly prehistoric layers, defy the official timeline. These anomalies are ignored, ridiculed, or hastily dismissed as coincidences. Yet what if they are the very remnants of advanced civilizations erased by engineered catastrophes? Their existence suggests that human history is far older, richer, and more complex than the linear tale we are told. Redrawing the world and consolidating control. After each catastrophe, the survivors reshaped the world according to their design. New states, religions, and cultures emerged already under the control of those who orchestrated or managed the disaster. By dictating the rules, rewriting the laws, and drafting new historical narratives, they ensured that humanity would forget its past, lose sight of its true origins, and become easily governed under a fabricated order. Thus, historical catastrophes were not mere accidents of nature. They were instruments of strategy, engineered erasures of memory, and mechanisms for consolidating global control. They represent another weapon in the arsenal of those determined to enslave humanity and to strip it of its true freedom. 4.4. Consequences of revealing the truth about history, rethinking civilization, and the dawn of a new world. The inevitability of awakening and the path to true progress. If the truth about historical falsifications, the fabricated founding fathers of heliocentrism, the erased names of genuine scientists and inventors, the manipulation of discovery dates, and the orchestrated catastrophes of the past were ever to become public knowledge, the impact would be catastrophic for the existing system and, at the same time, revolutionary for humanity. Such a revelation would not simply be another scientific discovery, it would trigger a powerful, uncontrollable wave of global awakening that no force could stop or suppress. The collapse of official history, archaeology, and anthropology. Every textbook, every theory, and every long-accepted concept would have to be torn down and rewritten from the ground up, sparking a crisis in the academic world greater than anything seen since the so-called scientific revolution. The authority of scholars and institutions that for decades upheld this false version of history, hiding evidence, silencing dissent, and ridiculing alternative views would crumble overnight. Those complicit in this deception would face the outrage and contempt of humanity, and countless institutions would be dismantled or radically restructured. A radical rethinking of human origins and civilization. If advanced civilizations once existed in the distant past, if giants truly walked the earth, then our entire understanding of human evolution and history would be overturned. New theories would inevitably emerge, whether pointing to engineers who designed or modified life on Earth as explored in Chapter 2, to cosmic experiments, or to cyclical patterns of rise and collapse far more complex than the linear timeline we are fed. Humanity would be forced to reconsider its place in the living world, its connection to other life forms, and its true purpose, the revival of lost knowledge and technologies. Should the truth about forgotten technologies and hidden knowledge surface, humanity would gain the opportunity to reclaim what was deliberately taken from it. This could mean access to safe and limitless energy, ether-based free energy, revolutionary methods of construction, and new modes of transportation, including anti-gravity devices, all the suppressed innovations that could liberate us from dependence on the corporations and powers that control energy and technology today. See Chapter 5. A cultural and spiritual renaissance. Myths, legends, and sacred texts long dismissed as fantasy would be recognized as repositories of real knowledge. Humanity would rediscover that our ancestors were neither primitive nor delusional, but keepers of truth, who transmitted it through oral traditions and symbolic tales. Religions, philosophies, and cultural systems would be shaken to their core, forcing a re-evaluation of sacred writings and mythological figures. What once was metaphor would be understood as layered truth. This could ignite a spiritual renaissance based not on dogma, but on authentic knowledge. The awakening of consciousness and the pursuit of truth. Realizing that history itself has been falsified would spark an unstoppable hunger for truth. Humanity would begin questioning official narratives, seeking knowledge independently, and refusing to outsource thinking to authorities. New sciences, free from institutional censorship, would emerge. A wave of enlightenment would spread, fueled not by institutions but by individuals determined to reclaim their minds. The search for hidden worlds and forgotten civilizations. If the earth is larger than we are told, if whole civilizations have been erased from memory, then the discovery of this truth would ignite explorations of concealed realms, the ends of the earth, Antarctica Chapter 12, and other hidden lands where remnants of lost civilizations may still survive. Revealing the truth about history would not merely be an academic event, it would strike at the very foundation of world control, which rests on ignorance and lies about our past. It would show us that the world is far bigger, far stranger, and far more wondrous than the version sold to us. Only when we dare to examine the so-called facts without prejudice, when we stop worshipping the myths of progress and objective history, will we finally see the true picture of our world and take the first steps toward liberation. This is not just a battle for facts, it is a battle for freedom itself, for our right to knowledge, for our right to self-determination, and for our rightful place in a reality that is nothing like the one we have been told to believe. Get the full book on Amazon.